Westbrook
They
running the
got LeBron
bench.
back, and LeBron is finally looking like vintage LeBron over the last week or so. It's
LeBron
just
looks like prime LeBron,
LeBron
as a
looks like prime
basketball fan.
LeBron,
not
and
prime
as a
LeBron. He doesn't
basketball
defend
fan,
like
that's
prime
great.
LeBron,
He's
but
But
also
offensively, yes,
70
he's
years old
also
now.
what,
yes.
70 years old
That's
now.
that's
He
probably
can't
the thing
sustain
that
this.
makes you. I think you said in a previous episode you were okay with someone saying, or arguing that LeBron is the GOAT. It's the longevity, man. I don't know very many, 20-year veterans averaging 29, 8, and 6. It's it's impressive, honestly. 51
It is.
51% from the field.
It
That's
is.
50% is an accomplishment in of itself. His three is 30, but LeBron's never been a great three-point shooter. Tw-
No, and when he came into the league, the
No,
three
and when he
was
came into the league, the three was
growing.
still
It hadn't reached the peak.
growing. It
Obviously,
hadn't
the
reached
three-point
the
shot has
important, like,
always been
obviously
important,
the 3-point shot has always been
but
important,
it really didn't become
but it really
critical.
didn't become critical.
You
You
weren't
don't,
able to live or die.
you weren't able to live or
You didn't
die,
start having to
or
live or die on the
you
three-point
didn't start
line
having to live or die on the
until
3-point line until 2012.
Grit and
The
Grind Grizzlies
um,
are a prime
Grit and
example of
Grind
you don't
Grizzlies
have
are
to
a
be
prime
great at
example of you
shooting
don't
three-pointers
have to
in
be
the
great at
previous
shooting
era.
3-pointers
Now
in the previous era. Now
you have to be shooting as a team at
you
least
have to
40%.
be shooting as a team at least 40%.
But with LeBron,
But with LeBron,
I don't. I'm not a
I don't.
LeBron fan.
I'm not a LeBron fan.
In Indiana, LeBron is
Uh, in
public
Indiana,
enemy number
LeBron
two
is
after Tom Brady.
public enemy number two after Tom Brady. Um,
But you have to respect
Brady,
LeBron, and
LeBron
but you
has
have to
done
respect
way
LeBron.
more
And
to
if
the
you were,
Indiana Pacers than Tom Brady has ever done to the Colts.
it's more just Tom Brady's
it's more
existence.
just Tom Brady's
You need to spend
existence.
some time in
You
Indiana
need to
to
spend
really
some time in
understand it.
Indiana to really
But
understand it.
Tom Brady is
But
he
no,
is
Tom Brady is he is
public enemy numero uno. Like it is
public
the
enemy numero uno. Like it
People in
is the
Indiana still talk
biggest.
about Deflategate
It's not even
and
close.
blame
Like,
Tom Brady for.
Absolutely,
Oh my god!
absolutely.
oh,
Oh
absolutely,
my god!
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
There was
god!
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
It was a
There
blowout
was a
game, Ren.
little
You weren't
song.
winning that game with or without those deflated football.
point.
Oh my god!
That's
Oh
not
my
the
god!
point. That's
Tom
not the
Brady
point.
likes
That's
deflated
not the
balls.
point. Tom Brady likes deflated
Um,
balls. That's the point. Um,
but if you were to tell me you think LeBron is
but
the
if
GOAT,
you were to tell
I'm
me
not
you
gonna
think
argue with
LeBron is
you.
the GOAT,
He's
I'm not
not
gonna argue with it.
my number one. He's
He's
my
not
number two,
my
maybe
number
number
one.
three.
He's my number
I
two,
am very
maybe
high on
three.
Kobe Bryant.
I am very high on Kobe Bryant.
Obviously, my greatest of all time
Obviously,
is
my
Michael
greatest of
Jeffrey
all
Jordan.
time is
For
Michael
me,
Jeffrey
it's a toss
Jordan.
up between Kobe
For me, it's a
and
toss up
LeBron.
between Kobe
And
and
I don't.
LeBron. And I don't have. If you say, if you were to tell me you thought the greatest of all time
I'm
was
not
one of
arguing with
those
you.
three, I'm not
You can
arguing
make a
with you.
valid point for any of them.
You can make a valid
Kobe
point for
is
any
a
of
lot
them.
harder to put at number
Kobe
one,
is a lot harder to put at number one. I think
but
he's
I'm
easier
not
to
going
put
to
at
argue
number
with it
two.
because for a
But
lot of
I'm not going
people,
to argue with
Kobe
it because
was
for a lot of
the
people, Kobe
greatest.
was the greatest.
What I will say about Kobe, because
Um,
I was at work and I watched. I literally put on the news, and as that event was going on, you know, I, I think people really underestimate how much Kobe contributed to the next generation. I think he did something
Mhm.
Michael Jordan didn't
mhm.
do, in the fact that, he inspired other people to work
Bigger the
as
game.
or try to work as hard as him. Yes, Michael inspired Kobe, but I think Kobe reached out and, touched more players. And honestly,
Right.
Kobe inspired me. Like, the way
Right.
I play 2K is very much a combination of Steph and Kobe. Like, Kobe inspired, I think, more than Michael Jordan did. That's not taking away anything from Michael Jordan being one of the most world-renowned sports people in the world, but Kobe, like, personally, Kobe has done Kobe or LeBron have done the most for me.
I
Now,
will say the
I,
majority of
I will
Kobe's
say
career
the
was in the age of
majority of
social
Kobe's
media and
career
the
was in the
internet.
age of social media
So
and
it
the
was
internet.
easier for his game to
So
reach
it
a
was
wider
easier for
audience.
his game to reach
But
a wider audience.
I think for
But
me, it's not so much
I
about
think
the
for
on
me,
court
it's not
performance
so
for
much
why I
about the
put
on court performance for
Kobe
why
on
I
such a
put
podium and am comfortable
Kobe on
saying
such a podium and am comfortable saying,
he's the number two or three guy.
he's the number two or
It's
three
just the
guy.
mentality. It's a
It's just that mentality. It's a Mamba mentality, if you want to call it that. But
what you did.
it didn't matter what you did.
Kobe,
If you swept Kobe, he's coming back next season and he's going to have figured you out. He might not go all the way, but he's going to have figured you out because you beat him. And I think that kind of mindset from a professional athlete is that is all-time great mentality, even if they don't necessarily perform up to the expectations, because I think that it's easier to make a case when you're talking about personal accolades for LeBron or Michael Jordan. But the only person that can be compared to Kobe is Michael Jordan from the mentality point of view. And you could say Jordan has the tougher mentality or whatever. But I think that's why it's so easy for me to put him in that conversation. And that's like obviously that's not like a hot take or anything, but the point is I if you tell me any one of those three, or if you tell me your greatest of all time is Oscar Robertson or Larry Bird,
I'm with that.
I'm not gonna like I'm in my head I'm gonna be thinking why, but I'm not gonna argue it because different players have influenced people in different ways, and we can argue statistics for who the greatest of all time is, but different eras means statistics are kind of hard to track, and I think that your greatest of all time should be the player that influenced you the most. If that happens to be, I don't know, Stojakovic. If your greatest of if Stojakovic influenced you more than any player, and you say he's the greatest of all time, good for you. I'm not fighting it anymore. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the headaches. But that's how I'm judging it from now on. Is all of my lists are going to be more subjective. Though I do think there is definitely a case to be made for statistical lists. It's just I think it's more fun if you make things personal.
That's fair.
Um,